Hey, what's up? It's John Wilkins. I just want to tell everybody, we've been doing these podcasting here, and I'm really trying. They may not be that good, but we're just going to work through it. So stay with us, okay, and see the changes evolve, and plus you'll learn something. And I want you to stay to the end. I got Adrian DeJesus here from St. Joe's in Montvale. He's a wrestler, and he's on his way to Cornell. I'll give him a second to introduce himself. But stay to the end, because the exercises, the inner core exercises that helped him out, you're going to want to see, all right? So we got Adrian here, and this kid's been with me for a while. One of the stories I always tell people is we're at the state championships last year in Atlantic City. And I see this kid walking around. He's got earphones in. He's walking around. And all of a sudden, he's beating everybody. I don't really know who he is, but then I asked Ryan Burton, and he told me who you are. He gets to his last championship match, and he comes over to me, and I'm trying to get this kid to get on the bar, the finisher, and he comes over to me and says he's ready. And I'm like, this dude waited to his last match to jump on one of the hardest things that people can't even finish, And he got on it, and he went out there, and, he did it, and he went out there and won the championship. So that was great, So, Adrian, tell us a little bit about you and some of your accomplishments and some of the things you won and all that stuff. And
all right. Well, again, my name is Adrian DeJesus. I wrestle at St. Joe's Montvale, and I've wrestled for about 10 years now. Training at places like Scorpions, Jersey 74, Buxton, and places like those, just getting experience and information from those coaches and getting their knowledge of the sport. I only really got into this sport because my father, he wrestled in high school, and I kind of wanted to see what he thought about the sport and experience it myself. And ever since, I fell in love with it. I really appreciate what the sport has done for me personally. Like, it's improved my confidence, my discipline, my strength, and like everything in life that I have now is because of wrestling. I've been granted the great opportunity to be committed to Cornell, and I don't think any of this would have been possible without this.
And you guys got me into Cornell. I went to Cornell, and they're also part of Spartan Combat.
Yes.
Right. And
which I'm also an athlete ambassador for as
well. Right. So I went up there, Coach Matt?
Coach Gray.
Coach Gray?
Yeah, Mike Gray.
Mike, yes. I went up there and I showed him the bar. And like other colleges I went to, the head coaches aren't really the people that are in the room with the bar with me. But I like that guy. He really took the time out. He stayed with me the whole time. He showed me the whole facility. I really like him. So you're going to a good spot,
Yeah, that's the one thing that I got out of my couple times there before I committed. It's a family up there. They all do everything together, no matter what. And I really appreciate that aspect of life. Family's a big part of my life. I'm always with my family. Whenever you see me at my tournaments, my family's always there with me. Whenever I'm not at wrestling, I'm with my sisters and my whole family at their dance competitions.
Yep. The family thing.
Yeah.
And I find, like, when I was growing up, I played, football, and I was in Long Island. And I tell you, my mom, I think, went to one game. And I was so used to her not going. When she finally came, I couldn't score. I was like sitting there going, come on, give me the ball, And then I scored finally, and I looked over and I didn't see her in the stands. Then I scored again, didn't see her in the stands. I scored again, didn't see her in the stands. And I'm like, after the game, I said, Mom, where'd you go? She said, went to the store. So really, I can appreciate, your pops is standing right here. I can really appreciate the whole family and being equal, though, not just everybody just going to your stuff. And then when it's time to go somewhere else, you're like, oh, I'm busy, So it's nice. It's good to see, your dad's always here with you, which is cool, So let's tell everybody what you won so far, like some of the things you've won, like some of the tournaments.
so far, I'm a 2-time New Jersey State champ, 3-time placer. I won my freshman year, took third my sophomore year, and won my junior year. Planning to win one more time this year.
Yeah.
Trying to put all that work in and making it, hopefully it pays off.
Yep.
I've made the team for the Puerto Rico World National Team. 2 years ago, I wrestled at the Pan American Games in Chile and placed silver.
All right.
I'm a 3-time Super 32 placer. I placed third my freshman year, third my junior year, and I placed 7th this year.
Okay.
And I won the NHSCA's nationals in my freshman year as well.
Yeah, yeah. Did you do those this year?
And NHSCA's are later this year.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I was there last year. Last year I was there.
I was at the
both
duels
events.
where I showed
Oh,
a
yes,
couple of guys how to do the bar.
Yes, that was great. One of the things that I do is I work on the inner core, which I go around, internationally, nationally. I've been to the Pentagon. I've been to the Olympic Training Center. And what I do is I try to just, spread my knowledge of the inner core, because a lot of people don't actually work that, or they don't actually know that they're working it. So I have a kind of specialized, unique approach to putting athletes out there. Basically I get them ready for them to go do their big lifting, because I don't really do that stuff. And the other thing is getting them ready, around that spine, the corset around that spine is like 5 muscles that are all tied in that don't necessarily turn on just because you're lifting. So there's specific things that we do here, and you've been here for a little while and you can see it, that's why you keep coming back, and it's helping, is what, just even for general people, is building posture, because everybody's falling over, we're always on our cell phone, we're on a computer, and just those muscles kind of just fall out. And when they fall out, they just kind of misplace you, And those muscles are like a key ingredient. If they're not right and they're not healthy, you don't have a healthy spine, they actually trigger joints. Like the lower part where where the pelvic floor muscles are, that's responsible for stabilizing the lower spine, right? So if that's out, guess where it goes? Right to the knee. So now your knee is misaligned and muscles are off balance, you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that I'm out there and just because I got hit by somebody or I got picked up by somebody or I got punched by somebody, that's why that knee happened. We can go a step further and go a lot deeper and find out, hey, where is our alignment to even get out there and start doing those things? So those are the things that I do with you guys. So tell me how that's been helping you with your training.
It's definitely made a large impact. Like you said, the first time that I did the bar with you was at the state finals. And I did that about 2 hours before the finals. And just after that, I felt a little bit more explosive. And so I gave it, I first heard about you from Ryan. I've seen him have the bar sometimes in the wrestling room, and I've questioned about it. And then he showed me the workouts that you guys did. And once I finally saw you at the States, I was debating on doing it, and then I was like, why not?
Yeah.
So I did it with you, and then ever since, immediately right after, I'm like, I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because I've never done a workout like that before.
Right.
I've been trained to the point that I like the burn. I like to feel the pain because I know it's working. It's doing something. So sometimes I've gotten my body to the point that I can't reach that point as much anymore. So once I did
because you're in great shape.
Yeah. So once I did that workout with you and I actually felt the pain of it, I'm like, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
So I came back about a week I think it was a week after that.
Yeah.
And I did the whole workout here. I was sore. Both my dad and I were sore for a whole week straight.
Yeah, right.
But the day after I did the whole workout, I felt faster. I felt more explosion off my feet. So
all it is in the beginning is activating, turning those things on. they're there, you know? Like I always say, when people, I get kind of worried sometimes when people go, oh, we got to build muscle. Well, the muscle's already there. Sometimes they're just sitting around, you know? Once we get them activated, and that's what the finisher does, is it activates you, right?
Yeah.
So here you are doing planks and doing side planks and all that stuff. We're not even adding any grip into it. We're not adding our hands in. We're not adding the forearm muscles in. And all those things are directly related to that core. So it wasn't nothing new. It's something that has been around since ancient yoga and ancient martial arts have always done the planks, you know? And I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, well, this is something I never made up. The only thing I did was made up the finisher bar so you can actually grab onto something, and then we progress into moving the bar while we do all that stuff, you know? So what I'm getting at is you had an injury, right? In a second, I want you to tell everybody what happened. But being built up is also not just physical. It was also mental and emotional. So to get around that room in those plank jumps and those plank walks and all the things that we do, it requires you not just to be physical. It requires you to be mental.
Yeah.
And then it requires you to be emotional because people cry. You know what I mean? You get to the point where you're yelling and, oh my God, I can't move. And then there's the spiritual end of it. It's that piece where people don't understand that piece. Some people need their coach to say, come on, you can do it. But you also have to tell yourself, right? And then you also got to bring that from a higher power, which then becomes who you are, right? So now instead of your dad saying, Adrian, you know better, let's go. You know, you can do this. He can still say it, but you're also saying it to yourself. And not in the demeaning way, in the inspirational way. Like, yeah, I'm going to get this done because my goal is this, you know?
Yeah.
Is that kind of like what you feel?
Yes, absolutely. In any instance that I feel like I'm ready to give up myself, I draw the fact that I have more strength in me. I have a lot of people rooting for me, and I know that no matter what, people have my back. So I got to prove to them and keep pushing harder for them to show them that I'm worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Because wrestling's expensive.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we work in part-time jobs. You're putting it in private schools. That's a lot that goes into it, you know. And for a parent, we will do that, and we will do more if you have the same discipline, if you have the same, you know, push and work ethic and everything. Like, I can't really wrestle with you, you know, but I can go to work and make money to pay for what you need. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a family affair, you know? And the give back is you're doing it and nobody's yelling at you. Come on, you got to go to practice. You're already up in the car waiting for them, you know?
Yeah.
So let's get back to your what happened to you. So where was the match?
It was literally, unfortunately, the first tournament of the season at BC East in Delaware. It was the third match of the night, last match. Up into be able to qualify for the next day. Sometimes I still honestly don't really know what happened, but I was defending a shot, and the kid kind of got behind me. I was still defending, and I think he just tried lifting me and tried to just bring me down. Mm-hmm. My instincts were to turn down, so I guess there was so much momentum, I was dropped right on my head. So,
And
thankfully,
did you immediately get knocked out?
Thank God, no. Like
Okay.
I was aware. I felt no tingling, no pain. It was just like the initial shock of
Like
it.
kind of
I
like
guess.
what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was the wrestler in me wanted to just get up and keep wrestling, but
Yeah.
everyone around me, like my mom being a nurse, she's like, stay down.
Yeah.
That was a nasty fall. So, but it was scary because I've never experienced anything like that. Thank God that it wasn't anything
Yeah,
worse.
absolutely.
With the position that my neck was, I'm grateful that I wasn't paralyzed. Mm-hmm. So, it was just a scary situation that I'm just really thankful to gotten out of and to be back now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm better. There's no pain, and one of the driving reasons is that it wasn't worse is because of the strength that my neck is. So I'm just glad to be back already.
Because even, that respiratory pressure I was talking about with that diaphragm, that actually, the pressure comes. So when you actually hit something that you're, like that spine is immobilized, it's like in place to accept that compact, the impact. So the problem is most people don't have that, or they don't know they have it. So in sports like tackling, like football and stuff like that, he comes up, boom. You're not always gonna make, like even with a blast double, you're not always gonna hit at the right spot. That sweet spot. You might be off a little bit. You might be like this. Your head might be tilted. You have the best intentions, but sometimes the contact is not like that. So you would have to have that corset, that suit of armor wrapped around that spine so you don't break any vertebrae. Now, what did the doctor say? Like you went into the doctor's office,
Yeah, I went to the
wasn't
hospital.
too sure until they did maybe an MRI.
They took X-rays, MRIs, and CAT scans. Surprisingly, they didn't really find anything in the X-rays and the MRI. They saw something sketchy in the X-rays or in the CAT scans between my C5, C6 vertebrae, but they weren't exactly sure. So just for precaution, they told me to wear a collar, and they initially said to have that on for 6 weeks, then have a follow-up appointment. Thankfully, my mom being a nurse and then also her cousin being a physical therapist, she said that based on my age, it should heal faster. So she recommended 4 weeks. So my mom scheduled a follow-up appointment like 4 weeks exactly to see if I could get it reevaluated. And those were a long 4 weeks in that collar. It was rough because I'm so used to doing something.
Yeah.
Like I'm always training. I usually have at least 2 practices or 2 workouts a day. And it's funny that in the moment, people always say like, "Oh, I'm so tired. Oh, can I miss practice? I don't want to. Do I have to go to practice?" Once that gets taken away, you're like,
Yeah.
"What am I doing? What happened?
I hear you.
I need to do something." I was trapped at home for like 2 weeks, not able to do anything, and it was just stressful because like I'm so used to always being up, always doing something, always working out. So like I did what I could. I'd go out for walks and try running here and there, but it's not the same. I needed to start like grabbing, getting physical. It was not the same.
Yeah.
But after the 4 weeks were up, I finally went to the appointment. They took more X-rays and took another look at the scans, and the doctor said he didn't really see anything that was wrong. He said he was able to see what might have been something weird, but he says I look fine.
And those things are all shadows and stuff anyway. So, the story I just told you about him trying to finish a bar just before his last match. Well, guess what this crazy guy did? He came in here with that neck brace on. Was it before you got cleared or after?
Before I got cleared.
Before he got cleared, he texted me, and he's like, "Yo, can I come work out?" And I was like, "Uh-oh." I said, "Well, let me do my research." So I did some research, talked to I got like 14 physical therapists that I deal with and a couple chiropractors. I reached out to them, and they were like, "Don't kill him," But the thing was that these opportune times where most people would not do something, you're doing something. You know what I mean? And that to me, that comes from not just what's inside of you, but how you were raised. You know what I'm saying? Like I know your parents, they are not like that. You know what I'm saying? They would not be sitting around, Like I know sometimes your dad talks about his aches and pains, but he's a fireman also, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we just give him a little bit of stretching routine. He's gonna push on, That's just who he is. So obviously the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah. I admire my parents for everything that they go through. My dad, he's always in pain because he was in an accident back in 2016. He had a roof collapse on him.
Oh, wow.
So
And was that during a fire?
In a fire,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh.
So just experiencing that and seeing what he's been through, and he's still pushing to this day, it really lights fire in me to say, like, I'm not going what he's going through. I don't know what he's going through. So what kind of pain am I in, really?
Right.
So I just keep, like, take inspiration from them and just keep pushing through. So, yeah.
That's sweet. That's real sweet. And people can learn lessons from that. Like, the reason why I had you on is not because I train you. It's because even at your age, and you have all these little kids that, they admire people and stuff like that. They admire them because they're winning. They admire them because they got a nice car. People are going to admire you because of who you are as a person, how deep of a person you are, and what you can offer to the world. And that's called serving, you know what I mean? And then whatever you do, when people are not watching you, you still do the same thing. You don't waver. You don't change. That's who you are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can learn a lot from that. And just like, coming and jumping on that finisher before your championship match, just like getting kind of like knocked out, dropped on your head, it's the same thing. Like, some people are like, you know what, that might be the end of my sport, But you made sure the coast was clear and you drove just as hard. Like, just before this, we worked out hard,
Yeah.
Now you're cleared and I can run you into the ground like I used to. You know what I mean? But again, still resonated with me. You came in with that little thing on it, and we just planked. We planked, we reverse planked, we side planked, and you pushed through an hour workout, and you paid attention to yourself. Like, you didn't say, "Oh, I got to get back on the mat at all costs." We watched and made sure, and we listened to that body. If that neck was going to start tightening up, we got to call it quits, or we got to tone it down. And get some stretches in there, And I think by you being even just strong to begin with coming in here, I didn't have a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? All I do is turn those things on for you, and the sky's the limit, And then, later on, I'd like to see this championship, and then in the future, going all through college, being able to do the things that you want to do and get the wins that because you're going to a great place. So.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you're going to get the training, you're going to get the workouts, you got the facility, they got awesome facilities, so, you're going to do it,
Thank you.
One of the things that, I have 5 questions for you. I think I hit on all of them. What is, like, how do you feel, like, now that, you've been with me for a while, the internals that I work on, do you think that was helpful in that drop you had, that if you weren't strong through the cylinder of your spine, that maybe it would have been a different outcome?
Yes, absolutely. With the position that my neck was, and like all my weight coming down on it, I like just me having the strength from my neck and with my spine. I think that's the reason why I wasn't like really paralyzed, or there wasn't any like big fractures. And that's the reason why I wanted to come back like as soon as I could, just to help like strengthen that even more.
Yes.
To help support my neck. So yeah, it's absolutely definitely helped me from like keeping it safe and supporting my neck and my spine during the fall.
Yeah, resilience too, right? I was talking to your dad earlier, and he was like, "Yo, this guy hasn't really missed a beat, man. Like, you're back on the mat, you're doing what you're doing, you're getting ready for districts coming up, right?"
Yes, we got team sections first, actually, which are next weekend. Next week.
And you feel that you're ready for it?
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
ready. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm struggling a little bit in practice to really get back in the groove. A little rusty, but
yeah,
that's gonna come off no problem.
Yep. And that's
with how much I push. I know it's gonna come off.
Right. So that's like a endurance thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we fail on endurance. Like, our endurance starts to go down just a few days after we are at our peak. So 4 weeks is a real long time for an athlete. But again, when we came in, the first week you came back, we were already doing a minute plank, on all 4 turns. So it's not like, you lost too much. So I'm rooting for you, man.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you. I feel like, God brings me people. I feel like this stage of my training and my facility and all that stuff, and it's only keep going up and up, that God has put a lot of good people. It doesn't matter if they're young, because I feel like you can learn from everybody, you know what I mean? Like the events that happen to you, I'm taking away something for myself, Like, yo, this kid can push, I could push, Where I feel like, when you hit a certain age, I think people give up, And I don't think that's necessarily the way to go, because we have a lot of life in us, And this little short period of your life, you can actually pull from you and say, okay, yo, he can do it, I can do it, And the same thing with the little kids. The little kids look up at you and say, hey, if he can do it, I can do it, Now, was your goal initially to, I'm gonna, it's like young football players, I want to be a pro football player. Was your goal to like just be the best that you can be, or do you have things that you want to win along the way? Like,
Initially, no. Like when I first started the sport, I just wanted to like do it just to see if I could have fun with it. Once I started loving it, then like I started eventually growing, starting getting confident in myself and being like, I want to be the best. Then at the end of the day, wrestling is just a tool to get me to a better place.
right,
Like I wouldn't, again, like I said earlier, I wouldn't have gotten into Cornell without wrestling.
right,
And there's a life after wrestling. So I'm going to Cornell for the education and for the networking. I'm planning to study engineering.
Oh.
So, because I've always been, I love Legos, so I've been a very hands-on, I love building, and I like knowing how things work and how things function. So I'm planning to study engineering. Haven't chosen yet, but I'm debating between mechanical and electrical engineering.
Nice.
And I know Cornell has an amazing engineering program, and in addition to that, an amazing wrestling program. So it's the best of both worlds. So, like, wrestling was just a tool to get me to a better place in life.
Awesome. Now, quick question. I always ask everybody this. Okay, at any weight you could be, who would you love to wrestle? I mean, we all have I don't call them idols because you're not supposed to idolize people, but who you think, like, you ever watch a guy, like, he's like your favorite guy to watch,
Yeah.
Oh, I love to wrestle that guy,
Yeah. I mean, I know all the basics, Burrows and all those, but one guy that I've really idolized right now is Sebastian Rivera, because he's a fellow Puerto Rican wrestler and he placed at Olympics. He
Really?
took bronze this year.
All right.
And that was so inspiring for me because up until then I thought like, yeah, we could go, but will we really do much? Seeing that, like I always had people say, "Are you gonna go to the Olympics? Are you going to the Olympics?" I never really thought about it much, but then seeing him place this past year, it was opened my eyes to like we could make it onto that podium, and now like that's one goal that I've set for myself.
Oh, nice.
Because I've already made the Puerto Rican team. I'm planning to go again this year to try out and make the team again, and like I would love to like hopefully eventually do what he did.
Right.
So that's one person I would love to wrestle. If I would
Now, for so everybody watches this, not just wrestle. Where is he out of?
He's also a Jersey wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Jersey wrestler.
And where is he currently wrestling? Is he out of college?
He's coaching. He's I believe, associate coach at Columbia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that program is really getting up there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, you have any questions for me?
Got any harder workouts?
Good answer. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. All right. Keep watching this. You're going to see Adrian go through some of the stuff that he does. And if you want some pointers, they'll be in that last little bit of clips. All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm still with Adrian, Okay, we just finished the podcast. You did a wonderful job. Right now, we're going to go through the 5 muscles along the spine that he needs to strengthen up. They're called the inner core muscles. Okay, so these inner core muscles, there's 5 of them. One of the muscles is obviously the diaphragm. Okay, the diaphragm is responsible for respiratory pressure. Okay, so when somebody makes contact with somebody or something, the respiratory pressure pressures up and holds that spine in place for impact. Okay, another one is the multifidus muscle, which run completely along the spine. It's all the close, deep internal muscles, and they keep the spine stabilized with your posture. With that is also the internal obliques. They're good for trunk rotation, all right? Then we're gonna go all the way down to the transverse abdominis, and that's also good for stabilizing and trunk rotation. And the last but not least is a really important one. I don't think anybody knows about this one. It's called the pelvic floor muscles. It's a muscle that runs along inside that pelvic area. And what that does is it stabilizes the lower part of the spine. And the most important is it stabilizes your organs in place upon contact. Okay? So those are the 5 muscles that we work on here. Okay? So the first exercise I'm going to show you is just a regular basic high plank. Okay? So put that bar down. We're going to get into a high plank position. Okay? In this high plank, okay, muscles are pulleys, okay? So let's say I was on my back and I'm doing a crunch. If I do a crunch, I'm coming up like this and I'm contracting the top of me. It's almost the same thing, but you're facing down, okay? So in this high plank, you want to push through the scapula. Everything goes through, okay, extending. Once he extends, he's thinking about taking the belly button and pushing towards the spine. The hips drop down, the glutes tighten up, the back lengthens, okay? I'm coming down the glutes to the legs. We're right at this hinge point here. We're completely tight, okay? I don't want him drifting back on the heel, so what we do is we kind of push forward, we extend through, lock the legs. Now here's the difference. If I'm doing a regular plank, just step off and put your hands on the floor. Good. Now he's in a regular plank, right? So his hands have way more surface area touching the ground than when his hands are on this bar. Plus, the hands are open. We're not gripping anything. So we're not using the hand muscles or the forearm muscles. So once he goes back up, we're offering grip and we're offering more stability, okay? And we want to do this, work up to doing a minute, okay? The second exercise is the side plank. So he's going to go down on a side plank, completely line the body up, open up, hips forward, pressing up. So that's that side plank press. Okay, let's go down and let's do one more of those. So this one here, we want to make sure that the feet are on top of the feet, the hips are forward. As he reaches up, he's going to close that scapula, press up, close it, and keep his body completely aligned, okay? He's going to bring that back down, bring that bar back in front here. He's going to do the other side. So in order to transition from the other side, we go to an elbow plank. We line up the same way, and we're going to press up again. Good. And we'll do one more of these, okay? So that's your side plank press. We're going to bring that back in front. So the first one was high plank, and then we got the side plank press, the other side, left side, right side. After that one, we have the reverse plank. Now, the reverse plank is really important, just like all the others. And remember, we're working all of the inner core muscles, not the superficial core muscles like your abs and all that stuff. All that's going to kick in. We always hit that core, but we never hit the inner core, okay? Now, when we rotate, we want to start off rotating the shoulder blades back together because muscles are pulleys, right? We're closing back here and we're opening here. And the reason why we're doing this is because we don't want any labrum tears, okay? We don't want no shoulder injuries. And then he's going to come up, and the emphasis here is contracting and then get those glutes tight. Because he's working all the way from here, all the way to the upper part of the glute, the gluteus medium. Okay, so that's the 3 exercises: high plank, side plank press, reverse plank. The last exercise I just learned a couple months ago, and I learned it from the strength and conditioning coach from Penn State. Awesome guy. Spent about 3 hours with him in the training room going over the finisher and going over some things that he does for his wrestlers, okay, which is this here, okay? What I want him to do is I want him to get in his wrestling stance like this. Bow his neck up so he's facing me, okay? And all you do is you gently pull on this band. You don't want him to lean back, okay? You just want him to resist. And then staying in that position, still facing forward, I come to the side and I'm working on that side stability, all right? And this one here, he's got to make sure that the shoulder blades kind of pinch together, the chest is up, okay? We're going to rotate back this way, still keeping that pressure. And then the same thing right here, okay? All right. And we can keep going all the way around, okay? So those are our 4 exercises that we do for trunk stability, time under tension, okay? And abdominal pressure and posture, good posture, okay? All right, thank you, brother.
Of course. Thank you.
Yep.